What up, everyone? I'm Rich Mays Lopez.
I'm Brendan Dunn, news editor at Soul Collector.
I'm Matt Welty, editor of Complex Sneakers.
And we are joined today by a triple OG in the game, several games.
A special guest.
Special guest, Mr. Jason Mayden, former designer at Jordan Brand, former designer at Nike, a man whose hits we're going to talk about.
Appreciate you.
And now you are doing your own project.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and we're
sir.
calling that Super Heroic. So before we get into the show today, talk to us about Super Heroic, please.
Yeah, Super Heroic is born out of several different insights and observations I had in the industry over the years. One, there's a shifting or a changing in the guard in terms of what kids are interested in. It used to be the athlete was the destination. Now kids are like, yo, every summer there's a Marvel movie. Every summer there's Comic-Con. So their childhood is based around these moments when narratives. So that's the first insight. Second one is kids aren't playing sports like they used to. When kids aren't playing sports, they're just playing. And so as long as we preserve that purity of play, that's the intention of Super Heroic. We're not here to tell kids that sports are bad. We're here to keep them, in this mindset of creativity and imagination and play for as long as possible, which is why we focus on elementary school children. So this whole company is intended to build stronger children instead of fixing broken adults. We're not a footwear company. We call ourselves a location-based entertainment company. And so one thing that we do is we say today, we want to get kids moving. So of course you build physical product to get them to move. But in the future, we're blending in a lot of unique technology, a lot of emergent technology and strong narratives to have them be part of the game itself. So all we're doing is gamifying the world, allowing the kids to be the hero in that game.
So Super Heroic is your current project. Obviously, you designed at Jordan. We're going to talk about that. You designed at Nike. You designed at the Fuel Band. You have a full show on deck. A new development last week, we're on Complex's page.
Exactly.
Hey, yeah.
So you can watch us on there, and you can definitely chime in on the YouTube comments about what you don't like about the show.
Yes, and we are definitely putting the struggle in everyday struggle. But do understand, right? That yes, we are 100% biting off the table, but listen, budgets are real slim over here at Soul Collector.
They gave all the money to Joe Budden.
You know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to gather a couple
This is all they could
pennies.
afford.
I mean, they literally gave me a used cup. It's all good,
If
though.
you have any pennies, hit us up. Venmo, PayPal, help
The
us
Patreon
afford a new
is-
table.
Yeah.
Get a
It's gonna be
Patreon
okay.
account, and for the record, we're not as old as you think we are.
Or as white.
Yeah.
Yes,
Rich
I need to
Lopez.
make that very clear.
Rich
I am not
Lopez
white in
is not
any
white.
way, shape, or form. I might be light-skinned, but I am not a white man. That is that. We have nothing to do with everyday struggle. We're just here to talk shit about sneakers. Jay, will you stick around and talk shit with us?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Welty, tell us about the first sneaker we're going to talk some shit about this week.
The first sneaker that we're gonna get into is a kind of collab that may have been a joke 5 years ago. It is the Concepts Air Monarch 4.
What do we know about this so far?
What we know so far is that Dion Point, creative director of Concepts, everything guy, face of the brand a little bit, teased it on his Instagram account. Just the heel. It's a black upper, white
Look like
midsole.
gum, right?
Yeah, gum sole on it. It's funny because the dad shoe trend is
Heavy.
But a few years ago there was the whole like Team Monarch thing where people were wearing Monarchs ironically, and it's like now all of a sudden it's like you got Monarchs, New Balance 990s, Balenciaga triple soles, and it's like the Skechers, whatever that shoe's called.
Oswego's.
Yeah,
Oswego.
people are taking the dad shoe trend seriously,
Very
and it's
seriously.
like it's fashionable now.
Yeah.
Jason, you have a personal
Yes.
connection to the Monarch, is
I
that
do,
right?
I do.
This
Tell
was
us.
this was by chance though.
Yeah.
That we had you here today, and the
Oh, that's
Monarchs.
wild. Yeah, no, I actually designed the second version that kind of was the catalyst for the Monarch taking off, which is wild to see. Because when I think of that shoe, what the immediate image that pops into my mind is the image of the Rock with the fanny pack and the mock neck. I'm like,
That's the Monarch.
That's the Monarch. And he's wearing like the old Jean-Claude Van Damme, like washed denim pants that flare out. It's wild to see people bringing that back. But I mean, what's cool about it, like we talk about all the time, is the archetype of the dad and what that role means for so many people. So if the culture is receiving that and they're reacting to it, then that's cool.
We talk about, Welty, and you're the biggest opponent of this, how sneakers got slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and more knit and more sock-like. This is the complete opposite
So
of
you're
that.
on board,
Oh, yeah,
right?
is this your wave?
And he's a big Concepts fan.
And you're a big 990 fan, New Balance 990 fan.
This
Is this
is
more
the-
your wave?
Are you involved with this project?
No, I'm not. The thing that to me is that like I like the shoes getting chunkier.
Yeah.
I just think that this is almost like trolling.
Yeah.
You know, where
Okay.
it's like
Troll the
it's like
culture.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like I think the 990 was just cool, like they were doing suede on it. You're like, oh, I could rock it. It's whatever. But then when you finally get to the point where the Air Monarch is like
made a collaboration.
as a fashion shoe, it's like, nah, son. It's like if you don't buy your Air Monarchs at Dick's or
Famous footwear.
or
Shout out to
Modell's
Dick's Sporting Goods
or
also, by the way.
Modell's, it's like you can't rock them. Let's be
You
real.
made this sneaker for dads.
But that, yeah, 100%. I made this for the guy, who drinks Dunkin' Donuts and is an obsessive Green Bay Packers fan. Probably a foreman.
Is that what the mood board looks like?
Oh, we made a mood room. Like I had wood paneling on the wall. I had the Lazy Boy recliner, the Budweiser sign in the basement. It was for a person that I had, in my life. It was like my 5th grade teacher, my high school football coach. It was that person. The person, who tucks in their t-shirt and the stomach hangs over the belt, but just is like immediately the warmest energy in a room when you meet him. So now to see Russell Westbrook rocking it.
Yeah.
But the thing that trips me out though.
With off-white socks.
Yeah, bro. But what's wild though is when I see people with skinny jeans and big shoes. That you gotta choose.
Yeah,
you gotta
I
choose
agree.
your fit profile. Like tight jeans, big feet. Now you
So
just,
put sweats on with it, right?
shorts or something. But done,
Yeah,
I
okay.
can't do the
Nice
skinny
pair of
jean, big
slacks.
shoes.
Nice.
Nice pleated slacks.
Yeah, then you
some
Pete Carroll.
Dockers?
That's Pete
Yeah.
Carroll.
Yeah,
What is it?
exactly.
Pete Carroll.
But it became, Nike's like best-selling sneaker, or
Yeah.
at least one of them. Like, what was the reaction like on campus? Did you get like a pat on the back, or did they know it was going to do numbers at the park?
So there was a gentleman named Ben Schoonover, who before the word troll existed, Ben kind of embodied that spirit in a good way.
Welty is now carrying the torch.
You carried the
for him.
torch.
Me,
Yeah,
Ben.
man.
Ben cubed, because when I got the project, Ben was the PLM, and he would always say, Jay,
That's product line manager.
product line manager, yes sir. So he'd say, yo, Jay, this is gonna be huge. Like, don't let them clown you, because people would clown me like, yo, how you gonna go from doing a logo for a professional athlete to doing this shoe? He's like, trust me, it's gonna be major. So he starts sending me the weekly reports, then monthly sell-through reports, and then it starts to creep up, and it's going like, okay, here it is, the Jordan, here it is, the Air Force One, and then it's like, boom, Monarch. And month after month after month, Monarch's just at the top of the list. So he would troll me and send me all the reports, and eventually it went from being funny to being like, Jay, we're making like real money. This is a thing. And so that helped me, with my career.
Do you remember like how many pairs a month were moving in the height of that?
Man, in the height of it, I want to almost say it was close to double-digit millions.
What?
Globally or something like that. Yeah, it was like ridiculous
Wow.
numbers. Because remember, it was everywhere. It was in JCPenney, Sears.
Yeah.
It was the Sunday Saver. It was always the same price. Like, you didn't have to think about it. It was always there, always available, never on sale.
All right, we're going to get off this Monarch wave for a minute. I want to talk about this latest batch of Air Jordan previews that just hit today. Every once in a while, Jordan Brand drops off a bunch of new images and confirms a bunch of release dates. I think the highlight here are the 2 Air Jordan 11s. We're learning that the red one is the Win Like 96, and there's a navy one also that's Win Like 82, a reference to Michael Jordan's UNC days.
Yep.
That's releasing on November 11th. What else do we have in this pack? The
Wheats.
the wheat pairs. We
Yep.
have a couple of them here. Wheat Jordan 1 releasing on November 25. We have a Wheat Jordan 6 releasing on November 21st.
13 week. The CEO 16s.
That's a nice one.
Those are my favorite. Those are bangers. And
2,300 pairs.
Yeah. And my thing is that, and I've said this before, a lot of people want to stop the Jordan line at the 15, but the 16, 17, 18, I'll stop there. Bangers. Still bangers. Then they pick it back up at the 23. I'm sorry if I'm offending any of your political connects.
I agree with
But do
everything.
not sleep on the 16, 17, and 18. Those are all great sneakers. I'm glad, and I've also said this before, people have different entry points into Jordan. So OGs
Sure.
want to be like, oh, if you're copying anything past 15, you're whack. But how about if I was 10 years old when the 16 dropped and that was my first Jordan? So to
Which
me,
you weren't. You were already
I was
We're really old, so like,
You
I might have been, I might have
drove.
been 50. But anyway, no, but what I'm saying, the CEO 16 is my joint.
For me, what I love about seeing all this stuff come out is when you get to the 16s, you can tell the stories of people that the names we don't know, the Wilson Smiths of the world.
Yeah.
And the thing people talk about why the Jordan changed is there's a different level of respect that Tinker Hatfield gets. He gets bandwidth and freedom to do what he wants. We didn't get that. We didn't have the name Tinker Hatfield. So when we work on projects, it's a lot of like design by committee. Where Tinker's like, I'm free to create.
Yeah.
So you see a difference
Yeah.
in how products change when
Understood.
a person's free. So my hope and desire is that Jordan Brand and all the shoe companies let the designers just remain free
Yeah.
creatively, because I'm still a fan. I need to buy dope stuff for myself and my kids.
what do you think is the corniest thing about sneaker culture that makes you not want to pay attention to it?
Oh man, how it's turned into like Pokemon card collecting from back in the day. Like, it's just, I got the latest one, I got to get them all. It's this urgency to feel like you got everything instead of just doing it for yourself. Like,
We'll take the blame for that, by the way.
Nah, you're not
Sorry
to blame.
about that, guys.
The whole point about the sneaker industry when I got into it was I made the sneakers cool. It's cool. The sneakers didn't make me cool. That's flipped.
Yeah.
Like, I can go now and just buy a pair of limited edition Supremes, and I walk in for that week, I'm the man.
Right.
That feeling goes away because next Saturday is coming out. So now it's this addiction.
That's what you thought you were doing when you bought the Supreme SB
Nope.
Air Force
Rich is
2s.
forever the man. though. He could be an Oscar.
Tell him,
guy.
Jay. Tell him,
I'm
Jay.
hold you down, man. I'm hold you down. We go back. But I think that the sneaker culture, because of that, we started to see the bullying, man. That's what's corny. Like this, we shouldn't. People be online. I read comments about me like, yo, if I see him, I'm gonna kill him. I'm like, word. First of all, if you see me and that's your first thought, then I feel sorry for you because it's not gonna happen. And then, secondly, if you're that upset over a sneaker, then go to school, get trained, and go and design something better.
Yeah.
Like, don't complain about it. Build your own. We got a lot of armchair quarterbacks and designers who critique, but I'm like, bro, I don't see any evidence of what you can do online. So don't knock me for trying when I'm not gonna knock you for being behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
So we need
Fair
to.
warning, we are going to do some of that very soon.
No, we need to knock everything. But the whole point, though, is you guys create, though. You
Yeah.
put something back into the culture to be judged. I don't think a person can judge unless they're willing to be judged.
Understood.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the sneaker culture right now. Everybody sit behind that screen, digital courage, and it's like, do you know how scary it is to put your design into the world and have everybody tell you it sucks or they love it? Like, these are extensions of us. This is a reflection of me, my gift, my talent.
Right.
So I put something into the world, somebody say, I hate you, I hate the product, you should die. It's like, damn, bro, it's a shoe.
Imagine being that upset. Yeah.
But that's the comment
So
section.
let me ask you, we've talked about this several times in this show. Is the sneaker game fucked up?
No, I think the incentives are fucked up. The incentive. The game itself is always going to remain the game because you'll have people come in that really care, like y'all care, and your children and the people you influence, you teach them the right way to kind of go about this. Collector culture is as old as time. People have been collecting artifacts of our existence since we first emerged as a bipedal species, right? Sorry to get all technical
that's cool.
Stanfordish and stuff, but the beauty of it is the incentive. Like, that's what needs to be restructured. The local retailers had exclusives, which then drove traffic, right? So now with e-commerce, the local retailers don't have that connection to the consumer anymore. So that relationship ain't
What is
there.
a local retailer now?
Yeah, that's what kept the game pure because you knew the person you were buying sneakers from.
Yeah.
And he was like your uncle or your auntie, and they kind of expected you to be there. In some cases, they'll give you credit if you couldn't pay all the way.
Yeah.
That's what's missing. So now it's incentivized to, like, let me get a bot, let me get the shoe, let me do a quick flip.
Yep.
The personal relationship is no longer there.
There was a rumor.
A report. We'll call it a report.
Okay.
Yeah.
A
About some
report.
other developments in the Jordan line. Nick DePaula, ESPN,
Yep.
saying that
The Melos Line?
they're ending
Yes.
Melo. Melo responded that he called it false news. He didn't go all out and call
Say
it fake
fake
news,
news.
but he kind of didn't. I don't know. I feel like he didn't outright deny it in a way. Jordan Brand did send us a statement. Quote, Melo is a longtime and respected member of the Jordan family. As is the case with all Jordan family athletes, we work together with Melo on a footwear plan each year. No decisions have been finalized about future models.
You have a close personal relationship with Melos Line.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
People think, oh, cut off, it's no more, his name isn't on the product. They may simply be saying we want to use Melo to amplify all the other products that we have. So he may become the face of training, he may become the face of some of the lifestyle stuff. So there's cutting off his line, and then there's using him in a bigger way with his new platform, being with Russ on OKC. Like, having two Jordan dudes, you got to choose who's the lead. If Russ is the lead, you got to think about it strategically. If Russ is the lead, face of the Air Jordan. Melo has his signature shoe in a market that may be cannibalized because people are going to want what Russ is wearing because Russ is like a semi-truck with no brakes. That man just goes. So if I'm a business person thinking through the strategy and I want to increase sales, I'm like, all right, I got the Air Jordan up here. I have Melo wearing the product that's a takedown of the Air Jordan because they own the same team. You get multiple visibility to drive energy towards your pinnacle product. So I think it's a smart decision because Jordan, you guys realize Jordan 1 is a very small, tight-knit family. It's not a team. It doesn't function like a team. So if the news of Melos Line ending came out, I'm pretty sure that there's a very strict, very focused strategy on how to keep him part of the brand because he's Jumpman for life.
Yeah.
How hard is it for an athlete like Melo, CP, any of the other phase, not so much Russ, but Blake Griffin, sure. How hard is it for them to have sneakers or have signature sneakers under a brand whose face is the greatest player of all time? This is something we've always talked about, and Welty mentioned it last week and got me thinking about it again.
It's insanely hard. Like, you got to realize Michael, as a person, is a better businessman than he was an athlete, which is scary to say.
Yeah,
like Michael,
that's saying a lot. Yeah,
he's probably. I've met a lot of smart people in my life. Been very fortunate and blessed to be around some of the world's greatest academics, Nobel laureates, and Stanford community is very rich in people who are intelligent. But Michael's level of intelligence just far exceeds a lot of people, right? So when he picks these athletes, he's picking a portion of himself that he wish he was better at, or something that he sees like, yo, you're like me in this way. But when these guys come in, it's still like, oh, this is MJ.
Yeah.
And how can we ever have a legacy like his?
Right.
So it's the pressure to have sales that match his, pressure to have cultural impact like Mike, pressure to have the ability to be able to articulate what you need in your product like Mike. Like he's an anomaly. You know, the only other athlete that I've seen, and I think people don't give him enough credit for it because it's really hard to do, is like Kobe. Kobe, to me, mimics Michael, which is harder. Like, how can you mimic someone that's exceptional and then actually mimic them to a level where you're just as good? That's hard as heck. And Kobe has that thing where he's able to talk about what he needs, and CP has it, and Melo has it. But it's pressure, bro. Like, from the moment they sign a contract, all of a sudden you're thrown into this conversation, and now you need to have a line that goes to 30-something shoes.
Right.
Does when you're designing Jordan sneakers, was there moments where, like, you know, you would design the final product and then you would see Michael Jordan see it for the first time and see his reaction? What was that like?
Yeah. Oh man, all the time. It was you know, working with him. He does this trick where the first time you show him something, he's a novice. You want to bring him something that he's never seen before. Like that was always our goal with the design team. Like, how can we bring him a story or an insight that he hasn't heard, something that he hasn't seen? So the moment we show him that, the first meeting is always kind of rocky because he's just processing. Like, dude is a human algorithm. He just functions. Second time you meet him, he's more of an expert than you are on the topic. Now he's asking you questions and challenging you, and you're like, dog, like, I just saw you 2 days ago. How did you, like, what did you do? Yeah. Like, who did you talk to? Like, I really do believe he has a hole in his neck that he just downloads data. So it was always, because the one thing people don't talk about is his competitive spirit is across everything he touches. So we bring him a concept or an idea. 2 days later, he's like, no, you're not going to one-up me. You're not going to make me feel like I don't know something. So he pushes us to constantly be better at our craft. Everything was sports to him. So you can't work with that man and have a soft ego and be afraid to try stuff. You got to go for it. You got to be willing to either have a hit that people love or a failure that people hate. There's no in between with him.
And you got to take the good with the bad with this, though, with Jordan Brand. I want to ask you this, too. You're wearing Adidas today.
Yeah.
You were a former Jordan man.
Yeah, absolutely.
From a popular sneaker culture point of view, Adidas has jumped over the Jumpman. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that. But as a man from the Chi, you would respect that too. Why? How? How has Adidas surpassed Jordan Brand? I don't even care about the numbers aspect.
Yeah.
I care from a cultural standpoint.
Relevancy.
From a relevancy, how has Adidas done this and why?
I think there was a shift in how the generation wanted to be viewed, and it happened about 10 years ago. So the moment the mobile device became ubiquitous and most people had smartphones, you now leveled the playing field. So information was no longer a currency. Because remember back when Jordan Brand was really driving the culture, if you didn't know, you didn't know. Right. So you could control the value because you control the info. Now at the playing field is leveled, enters, personalities that are associated with Adidas that now say the creative has the power. The creative has the power. You don't have to be the athlete to be important. You don't have to be this to be important. Like, you could be King Batch and have 1 billion followers. Yeah. You can just be a Fit T model on Instagram and have 1 billion. Yeah. And so the kid who's growing up, they're like, wait, so I don't have to have a jump shot to be well known? Yeah. Well, cool, I'm just going to be well dressed. I'm going to be creative. And so that wave of creativity, that wave of self-direction that we saw a lot of in the early 90s, which is crazy. We've been here before. Yeah. Everybody was making their own clothes. Yeah. Everybody was doing their own thing. Everybody was dressing their own unique way. It came back, and it spread quickly through technology. So Adi just, right time, right place, right set of people, right moves that were made where they, I don't want to say take advantage because that's a terrible phrase, but they saw the trend happening and they were poised to really, get the benefit from it. Now that the trend is out there and people see it, it's really going to be interesting to figure out who's going to really carry the torch for the creative youth. So we're at the tail end, or at the beginning. We're here with elementary school children, so we catch them when creativity is a real thing. You're coloring color books. But when you get to middle school, high school, that's going to be the interesting piece, because you're not going to have every kid that wants to jump from the free throw line. Some of them are going to want to be, on Ableton making their own music and putting it out into the world. How do you create performance product for that person? Yeah. So,
how big was landing Kanye West for Adidas?
I think that was honestly the chess piece that they missed. Because Adidas is probably one of the best engineering companies on the planet. Nobody can argue with that. And this is me saying this as a sneaker fan. They were putting mechanisms in shoes at a time when we were figuring out just cotton and leather and rubber and how to manipulate that.
Things like the micro pacer and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's engineering at its finest. But what they aren't are great storytellers. They're not. That's not their natural.
They're starting to figure it out.
They're figuring it out. And Ye brought a bit of that to them. Just this natural narrative, this personality that's relatable. you know, anybody can be Kanye, you know, have a voice, be loud, you know, not everybody can be MJ. So
Right.
I think that's the thing. It was right time, right intent, right person that kind of represented this all or nothing attitude. Because Adidas really had nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yeah. I'm going to take the next one, and I'm just going to be very self-referential here. Last week, we are all, as a team, very proud of the fact that we put out our first episode of Price the Hype, the world's first sneaker game show. Jay May's already laughing at it. I just wanted to say that we all worked really, really hard on this project. We hope you all enjoy it. Whether you love it because it's a good show or you hate it because of what we're doing on it, at least you have some kind of reaction. You can find it on facebook.com/pricethehype. If you haven't watched the first episode, watch it first of all. There's a little glimpse right here, but it gets worse. Yeah. So if you thought, well, better, it gets better,
but worse.
Also worse. Best and worst things of the week, B.
I want to talk. So my favorite thing that I saw in sneakers this week was Klay Thompson's commercial for his latest sneaker. Like I think Klay Thompson is hopefully at a point where he realizes that people are going to joke on these things regardless.
Yeah.
Like he's going to get snapped on for this stuff. So he's kind of approaching it with a little bit of comedy now. Like he has this video where he's bathing in the shoes and things like that. And I think even better than that was like afterward, somebody asked him for a comment on it, and his quote was just like so non-committal. He said, it might not look flashy, but it's the best shoe Anta's made, and it might be one of the best Chinese shoes ever. He couldn't even say it.
You remember, what was it, like 2-3 years ago when like Klay went out to China and they showed him like
Yeah, of course.
That stank face.
Yeah, the Anta shoes.
The commercial is kind of an echo of that.
Yeah, it's just like
it's in its physical form.
Shoe actually is not that bad. Like, seeing it on this thing, I mean, I personally wouldn't rock it, but
I don't think it's terrible.
it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
you wear gold shoes like that though.
It's a little. Well, I wore gold Bapes on the first episode of Price the Hype.
That's true.
Go back.
You gotta have like your chest hair out if you wear gold bait. That's when you wear that double, dangerously deep V-neck.
Welty, tell us about I think the best thing you saw in sneakers this week, right? We're going to talk about the Monarch once more.
Yeah, we're gonna take it back to the Monarch. Came up. Eric Koston, also the guest on Sneaker Shopping this week.
Dope episode. Really
Dope episode. Probably like the biggest sneakerhead in the skateboarding industry.
Oh, yeah.
He decided to skate in the Monarchs.
This may have been an ad, though. Watching this on Instagram, it feels an awful lot like an ad.
Whether or not it was an ad, still dope. Still dope.
It was cool. I
thought it was funny. He did that new Instagram poll. He's like, "Do you want it tech or fat with a PH?" And then he did a backside flip, and he said it was 38% tech, 62% fat. It's just funny. It's just funny with the Monarch, in the widths.
But this is dope though, because it looks like he's rocking a Supreme hat, so he's combining this Ultimate Hypebeast brand with the Monarch. Koston is a legend, amazing episode, so I'm happy to see this. This is funny. So my turn, and I'm glad you're here too, Jay. I'm really glad you're here for this. The worst thing that I saw on the internet this week was without a doubt the Chicago
I think we all agree on this, right?
Tempo. This is not only is this the worst thing I saw on the internet this week, this might be really the worst thing I saw in the internet in sneakers this whole entire year, right? I've come on the show several times, several weeks saying Nike's about to kill the up-tempo. Nike's about to kill the up-tempo. Nike fucking killed the up-tempo.
A moment of silence for the up-tempo. Carry on.
Yes.
Damn shame.
Nike absolutely killed, destroyed, murdered the up-tempo. It is dead. It should be buried. We had our moment of silence. This is neither a good colorway nor a good sneaker. This is fucking terrible and a disgrace to one of the best designs ever and to a man whom you've worked with, who's Wilson Smith, who designed the sneaker.
Yeah, man.
What the fuck is this, Jay?
I mean, honestly, this is a reflection of culture vulturism.
Okay.
This
is how we got here.
This is how we got here, man.
And you're from Chicago too,
I'm
so
born
this
and
is
raised. Like, I mean, listen. The thing about this, Wilson and what he did, people don't know. Wilson Smith is essentially like the Benjamin Banneker of footwear. Every great shoe that other people get credit for, Wilson's somewhere attached to it, if not fundamentally the reason why it exists. So this shoe is not only a shoe that reflects Chicago and Pip and the people who wore it and anybody who wore the shoe. It reflects like the first black footwear designer at
Wilson
that
Smith.
level ever.
Yeah.
Like Wilson gave his job up for me to get my job at Jordan. Literally. This man was like, I need to leave so Jay can come here. Like, and made that choice. So when we see people forget the origins and the intent and the passion and the purity of creation that went into these products, then it just becomes like, are we checking the box? Are we just, getting the margin? And it's not a knock on Nike, it's a knock on this industry. We've incentivized the companies to just put stuff out and think that people are that stupid to want to pay for it. They're not that dumb. This is going to end up at Ross.
Yeah, I hope it does.
No.
As a fucking lesson, because what is
The
this
thing
shit?
is, to me, I don't like this either, but to me, this is not that much more offensive than the Supreme Up-Tempo. I thought the Supreme Up-Tempo was pretty bad,
The Supreme
too.
Up-Tempo, I think they could get away with it for who they are. This is Nike doing it themselves and in a really fucking
And
terrible
also,
way.
you own that shoe too, though, right?
Let's not forget all the Odell Beckham Jr. cleats that do the
Those are
same
also
thing
terrible.
that are all bad. I think there's a famous Tinker Hatfield quote about the original design of the shoe.
This is a
where
real shoe dog right here.
He told Wilson Smith, like, this isn't good design, but it's going to sell 1 million pairs. And I kind of agree on that note where it's like, that, it's so bold and it's so brash that you can only do it that one way. And if you try
100%.
and recreate it outside of that original
Totally
context or with letters that don't fit, it just
The sneaker should say Air on it. Unless it's Supreme, then it can do whatever they want.
I'm sure the person who designed it is a nice guy.
I'm upset about it.
No, the people that
I don't
work on
even.
these
That doesn't
products,
matter to me.
Decisions are going to be made. People are not going to like product, but it should never be, through the lens of how much can we just get and extract out of people. Like, I understand how this plan rolls out. You get the Supreme to drive the hype and reintroduce the shoe, and then you got these other releases that continuously drop throughout the year and maybe an 18, 24-month calendar. But culture moves faster than that. So I think this is a prime example of, the bigger companies taking too long to turn the ship, right? Because it could have just stopped at the Supreme and then just brought back the original and had, like, they got the jerseys. Now, you could have had a whole moment around the original capsule collection with this thing. The outfits, the sweatsuits, it could have been a thing. But, you just got to get people in positions to shine. That's why you got to let designers design. You have to really listen to the voice of your audience. You can't just take them for granted. Data doesn't tell you anything. It tells you, what happened. It doesn't tell you why it happens. So all the traditional ways of capturing insight has to be reinvented. You got to be in the streets and understand what this shoe means to people. Not just what it means to your bottom line, but what does it mean to people? So anybody creating, whether it's Nike, Adidas, whatever, think about that. What value is that going to bring to the person? What's the value of it?
You got me. I think the sneaker is fucking terrible, bro.
Supreme at least has brand value, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They can get away with it because of the collaborative effort that brought about that aesthetic. Nike has no business doing this, man. It's their product.
It's like
it should say Air.
You also did, I know it wasn't the up-tempo, but you just did the whole fucking Scottie Pippen story with
Kith.
with Ronnie Feig, and it's like, okay, you've already told that story. It's like you can stop there.
They could have stopped a while ago, though. Like Jay said, they could have stopped a while ago. No disrespect to Ronnie, but they could have stopped. They didn't need that.
Like all these shoes made us uncomfortable when they came out. Not physically, but like, ooh, I don't know about that. Man. Like, it was always a bit of ugly.
And not
like,
in this way.
Not in this way. This is like, oh man, for real? This is when you find out that your father can't actually fight. It's like, oh, this whole time. You said you could throw hands and you got beat up at Chili's in the parking lot?
Wearing Monarchs too, though. Daddy got beat with a Monarch.
Speaking of Monarchs, I think we have some for the squad today.
We have Monarchs for the squad?
I think it would only be fitting if we brought some Monarchs onto the set. We're gonna do
Those are pure.
I'm like, man. They gave me the Virgil treatment.
You got the off-white.
The off-white, the Virgil collab.
Jay, while you're here though, I need you to hit my Monarchs though.
Yeah.
I need you to give me a little something, a little off-white treatment on these.
Gotcha.
Oh, they're going straight to foot?
Yeah,
B?
man.
Yeah,
This
but
is how
people
we
on the
do
bottom though, they got the pivot point now. that's for that Costco. Like when I'm
that
turning
Air
to get that
Force
free
One
sample, it's like
pivot
I need
point.
to make sure I got proper rotation.
Sorry, Rachel.
I need you to hit these for me. Something, anything. Look,
so
listen,
comfortable, man. I'm not gonna lie.
If you let the
I'm
tongue
ready.
hang out like this and keep the laces loose, I think maybe we got a winner.
pretty
here.
leisure.
I'm ready to go pick the kids up after school.
Right?
You know what I mean?
100% run some
You
errands.
I'm
got
ready
your
for the PTA.
You need
meeting.
to actually do like a proper like Wrangler X Monarch collab. Like do it like a dad wash.
Don't give
like,
you always give these ideas away
man,
for
these are
free,
free,
man.
yeah.
You gotta make people pay for this shit.
I feel like I could swag this up though. You know what I mean?
You can freak it?
I can freak this. I mean, it's got full length air. It's what it says. It's stamped right there.
It's full length leisure. That's what that is.
I believe it.
That's not air. That's leisure.
Yo, listen, I'm getting a one-on-one Jason Mayden piece. While Jason Mayden one-on-one's my piece, we're gonna go on to our cop or drops of the week. And
I don't need to cop anything this week, man.
You're good.
I'm pretty much good at this point.
I am not copping any sneakers this week at all. I'll be copping several, if I can, pieces from the Supreme Scarface collection. I know, Welty, chill. Let me finish. This is the culmination of streetwear's obsession with Scarface, or cultures, and it's only right and necessary and natural that Supreme does a Scarface collaboration. You may get your darts
Go
off.
ahead,
All
real
right.
quick, Welty.
If you
Real
say-
quick, this better be quick.
Yes, if you say that this is the culmination
Yes.
of culture's
This is it.
The culmination of culture's obsession with Scarface was played out 10 years ago.
Wrong.
What took Supreme so long to fucking do it?
I think that when it doesn't really matter until Supreme does it, and now that they've done it, we can move on.
All right, we can move on. You're absolutely right. That's an excellent point.
We made fun of someone on this show for making a Scarface themed shoe like a month ago.
That shit was whack. This shit's hot.
We can move on, and we will. My cop of the week, again, I don't think there's anything very good coming out this week, so I'm going to talk about a shoe that's restocking, the Triple Black Vapor Max. I think that's one of the better shoes releasing this week.
I'm gonna tell you, B, I'm over this sneaker already.
That's fine with
I'm
me.
over the Vapor Max already.
That's fine with me.
I had a quick run.
Again, a slow week, so this is the best of them. Welty, tell me what you're copying this week.
My cop of the week is the white and blue OG Air Max 1.
Another one is restocking. I have a
that's
weird
nice.
relationship with this one. The last time when they were $55 at outlets, like walking
I
around
think that
being
they were
like,
cheaper than that. I think like maybe like 2010 they were like $20.
Yeah.
but I just remember passing on them for that price, and so I feel like a big dummy going in at what are these? $1.50?
Yeah, they're reshaped a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean that's cool, but
My drop of the week, and the reason why I'm dropping these is not because they're really terrible, but more because I actually wanted to cop them, but they're whack to me, is the T-Sheet Air Force Ones. Like, listen, I want to cop a T-Sheet Nike sneaker. I really do.
have you not bought any of the
I
previous
haven't.
ones?
I wanted the Vachetta Tans, but either way,
I have a pair.
A Givant, thank
Man,
you.
this was
This
better.
sneaker, unfortunately, is not good enough to get my 275. I wish it were. Period.
All right. My drop of the week is the Danny Supa Nike SB Dunk High. I just wish this felt more special. I remember
Plus,
wanting.
it looks kind of plasticky.
Yeah, I remember wanting the original Danny Supa joint so bad for so long, and now they bring it back and they turn it into a high, and it just reminds you that you can't just bring something back and that's all you need. Like, I don't know, it just,
This whole turning lows into high shit is whack to me.
yeah,
super whack.
Yeah, thank you.
But
super whack. Okay.
but it
For you and I, who were
it's like
really
SB was like a
Yeah.
whole fucking era,
for you
and it's
too, okay.
and it's like, oh yeah, you don't
I mean-
count, dude. We didn't allow people with mustaches to wear SBs back then.
The mustache is staying, by the way, you two.
Yeah, don't let it go, man.
No, but I'm with you on this.
But it symbolized an era. If that era's not here, the
Then
shoes
don't
don't
do
mean
this shit.
anything.
Yeah.
My drop of the week is the second time we're gonna fucking shit on this shoe. This episode are the wheat up tempos.
Yeah.
Basically over wheat sneakers,
Yeah.
like as a whole. Like,
Yeah.
come on, like there have been dope wheat sneakers in the
Sure.
past, but now it's like everything's wheat.
This Nike Wheat Pack is like 10 silhouettes strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If I'm gonna go this far into wheat, I'm gonna cop a 6-inch.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. With the Timbs.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be a
It's gonna
Tim.
happen
It
with
can't be.
Timbs.
It can't be this. It can't be.
How
this.
long
So
do we
I'm
have to
with
wait
you.
for a wheat Monarch?
Coming soon.
Before we get out of here, we're going to dip into the mailbag. We have someone on Twitter @OldCoot asking, with the sneaker market trending towards dad shoes, do you think that the Air Monarch will have a big year? Oh, what a timely question.
This is looking very much like an Air Monarch commercial. You're accusing Koston of being commercial. Look, we're not getting paid by Nike, but if you'd like to, we need a new table.
Yeah, can I get royalty?
I mean, every year is a big year for the Air Monarch, right? I guess they're asking if we think it'll have a big year for cool guys. I still think it
I'm
needs...
about to put one on, so.
Honestly, I think because of the chunky running sneaker, the stuff, Balenciaga's doing, all those other brands,
Yeah.
the Monarch could be major. I don't know if
Do you think Nike can make it cool?
well, the person who wears it makes it cool.
Yeah.
No brand owns coolness.
Is the Balenciaga Triple S trash or fire to you?
I can't wear it. I mean, I think it's like you see Quavo rocking it.
Yeah.
It works for him.
Yeah.
I think it fits a certain body type. Man, I'm 6'2". I wear size 13, 14. Like I look like I wear that. I'm
Regular width, though.
regular width. You know what I'm saying? I don't wear the tight. It just won't work for my body type. So.
All right, we have somebody else asking on Twitter, any good advice to an upcoming designer? Any words of wisdom, any gems you can share other than what you've already told us?
I honestly would say to persist. That's the number one thing you have to learn to do in a performative culture is to be persistent. Because the people who win at this game aren't the ones that are the smartest and the most talented. It's the people who don't quit. And so many people get discouraged. They see stuff and they see, the cool factor of it all. But deep down inside, man, coolness masks insecurity. So you have to be comfortable in yourself and you have to be willing to endure in order to win at this game. It's not about talent; it's about endurance.
That's what the mustache is about.
That's it, man.
That's right.
Endurance.
And I want to ask you
Flavor
just
saver.
a follow up on that. Like I said, you got to take the good with the bad too. What was your greatest failure as a sneaker designer?
You know, we talk about all the time. It's how I became so nervous to tackle the task of the Air Jordan 2009. I allowed it to become designed by committee because I thought I needed to please the people internally versus doing what was right for the athlete and the consumer. So now I'm hyper bullish on making sure that the decisions we make about product or design or any technology, it's not an ego or a financial decision. Is it delivering value to the person who's going to wear it? Like, will they actually look at this object we create and feel some type of way, in a good way, about what we're doing? So yeah, that was my greatest failure because I failed myself. I didn't trust my own voice enough. I didn't speak up enough. I didn't advocate on my own behalf enough. I let other people dictate my confidence.
Were you involved with the fusion stuff at the time, or no, or?
Yeah, a little bit. So that concept came up.
We talk about that a lot on the show.
By Mark Dolce. Mark Dolce
Really
did that concept.
This is a gem.
Dolce was old school Nike, even though he wasn't there during the old school Nike days. He snuck his way onto a plane with MJ, with Tinker, presented the product, wasn't in Jordan Brand, showed it and said, I think this is a great insight. I think
He snuck his way onto
he
the
snuck
plane?
his way onto a plane, a private plane.
He was in the suitcase or what?
Nah, he just kind of just rolled with the
tucked in the
flow.
Supreme bag.
They were touring in Europe, and Mark was over there for some other stuff, and he just was bold and went after it and said, I believe in this concept. And he rode with MJ and Tinker on a private plane and showed them everything. And they came back and we told us about it, myself and Dwayne, because we were primarily the design team at that point, and I think Justin Taylor was there. And we were like, it could be cool if we do it right. If it's corny, then it's kind of like, it was around the time Best of Both Worlds, Jay-Z album was out, everybody's thinking R&B and rap, so what about Air Force One and Jordan, two kind of iconic silhouettes. But that really came about from Dolce. Yeah, that was an interesting time period, because it was still felt like old Nike, where if you had an idea, you can fight for it and push it forward. And he did it, so hats off to him for being bold enough.
Or at least trying that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shout out
I
to Mark
honestly
Dolce.
think, I'm going to be real, even though Jay's here, I think it was the worst thing to happen.
Hey, bro,
Period.
look, I can't disagree. In certain aspects. I mean, but at that time, it was like you said, we were just experimenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I wore any of them, even the ones I worked on.
We're going to look for some photos, Jason.
Yeah, of me wearing some?
No.
Oh, so you won't have them.
Dr. Souls 11 on YouTube. Not sure if he's a real doctor or not, but he wants to know how we decide in the morning what sneakers
really?
we wear.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, so for me, I think picking out my sneakers is probably the hardest part of my day. And it's crazy because I open my closet and I'm just like
Rich has a pretty easy day.
overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of sneakers. And the reason I say that is because with all these damn sneakers that I'm looking at, I go for whatever sneaker is on the floor in front of me, probably 9 out of 10 times. I don't have the energy or the time to grab into a box and pull it out. So it's usually like Jordan 1s or something that looks good with anything.
I'm the same way. I have a ton of pairs around my room, but I have 20 or so laid out, and I'll usually just go for one of those.
Welty?
Same. It's like, I mean, I have the same kind of setup, but for me, it's like I don't match head to toe, but you still have to make sure what you're wearing.
We're going to look for photos of that, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are photos of that back in the day.
While you're on that, okay?
Can't throw on a pair of Air Max
He's
95s.
giving, he's giving us a style tip right now?
No,
You can
not
interrupt
even, it's
him?
not even a style tip. It's not even a style tip. This is a common sense tip, okay? And I saw it on the train this morning. You cannot rock an Adidas jumpsuit with anything but Adidas sneakers. I'm sorry.
Does Reebok count?
No. Adidas 3-stripe
No.
sneakers, you can't do it. Because Mans was rocking a full head-to-toe Adidas tracksuit with J's. No.
We would love to have you on the show.
no,
If that was
no.
you, what train was he on?
He was on the F train.
If that was you on the F train, please come
We
on the
gotta
show.
talk about this. You
We'd
can't
love to
do it.
discuss.
I see that. I see that in my
Your
neighborhood on the
sartorial
regular
habits.
though.
Before we get out of here,
Wait,
Jay.
wait, I want to know how Jason picks out his sneakers.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, that's a good question. It depends. So it's funny for me because people see me as a Nike Jordan dude, so I always have to think, okay, what questions do I feel like answering today? They're like, oh, you wearing Adidas? Why aren't you wearing Nikes? So that's the first thing. How do I feel like dealing with those questions?
yeah.
But honestly, I dress for themes. Like I dress for certain moods. That's it. Like if I wake up in the morning, I feel like I need to go into my Bruce Wayne mode. I pull out some Viz Vims and get real technical because I'm going back to Braveheart. Dances with Wolves, moccasins. I'm trying to be in
You
the
light
tactical
some
mode.
incense and like set the
The
mood,
whole
like
thing.
in
I
the
got a whole
sneaker
ritual,
room.
bro. I pull out a sword. I start doing my whole posture.
Yeah, man. That sounds intense.
Nah, I mean, I just whatever. I mean, because I pack my bag the night before because I go to the gym early in the morning. So a lot of it comes down to meetings and what mood I'm trying to set.
Yeah. We wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate y'all, man.
I met you probably 10 years ago when you were still at Jordan, and your career arc, we couldn't get into it today, but You went back to Stanford, got your doctorate, worked in the Fuel Band project, worked in Silicon Valley's VC work, worked for Steph Curry. So I suggest y'all look up my man's career. Amazing.
And look for photos of him wearing Fusion Jordans. And we will definitely we'll get you a gift certificate
I will
to
buy
Foot
you.
Did you
Locker
have the
if you can
matching
find
apparel?
that.
Again, we wish you the best of luck with Super Heroic, superheroic.com.
Yes, sir.
Super Heroic on Instagram,
Yes, sir.
_ Super Heroic on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
You're based out in the West Coast, so if anyone is aspiring to get into this project or design, Super Heroic might
Hit
be
us
the
up.
place.
Yeah, hit us up. Hello@superheroic.com. You know, we're always looking to hear from people, hire people, give
Yeah.
people opportunities to shine. So reach out.
Dope. I'm Rich Mays Lopez. You are. Who are you?
I'm Brendan Dunn, news
great.
editor of Soul Collector.
And
That's
who are
I
you?
am.
Matt Welty, editor of Complex Sneakers.
And that was Full Size Run. Peace.
Peace.
Listen, this is important. I need you to subscribe. They're going to make me keep wearing these fake Skechers Yeezys until we hit 50,000 subscribers. So please subscribe to Soul Collector on YouTube. Now.